Hey, what is up, everyone? We're back with another video. So in today's video, we're going to be doing the first part of one of the series that I'm going to be creating, which I'm going to be reviewing people's webinars live, okay? So we're not going to watch the entire thing, but I'm going to skip through certain parts of people's webinars that I actually recorded and break them down. That way they can improve their webinars. You can see what other people are doing. That way, if you want to run webinars, then you can run webinars and you can get my take, someone who's done over $6 million in webinar sales, on the best practices to do with webinars. All right, so who am I? My name is Marc-Anthony. I'm the co-founder of Scaling Webinars. We've done over $6 million webinar sales in counting. These are a few of our client results right here. Why should you care? Well, if you're watching this video, then you're an online coach or expert who's at 50K per month to 100K per month, who wants to scale with webinars, or maybe you've seen other people doing webinars before, or maybe you're an online coach or expert at 50 to 100K per month who runs webinars right now but wants to optimize them. Okay, so my goal of these videos is I want to show you what's working, show you what's not working, and help you make even more money with your webinar funnels. And in general, I want people to run more webinars. So let's add that here. Run more webinars, because I think that's one of my main, most important goals for this video. Run more webinars. All right. So today we're going to be breaking down Johnny Mao. Okay, so he's a high-ticket sales trainer who's been blowing up in this space recently, and he recently did a webinar, which I attended, and I recorded the entire thing. So we're going to be breaking down what he did good, what he could be improving on, now he can make even more money on his next webinar that he runs. All right, so let's hop in to Mr. Johnny Mao's webinar right here. Okay, let's start.
Okay, here we go, 20K. Nice. Yeah.
So best practice that everyone usually does, like at the beginning of the webinar, just get more interaction with people, right? So what he did, he's just asked people how much you're making from high ticket sales. What people usually do is, hey, where are you tuning in from? Drop your name, where you're tuning in from, X, Y, Z, just to get engagement from the chat. So what most people go wrong with this is they'll do this for like too long. All right, so you don't want people to just be like sitting in the chat, like if your webinar starts at 7 o'clock for like 5 minutes when you're doing intros. Like it should be relatively like 60 seconds to like 2 minutes max of you just doing this, getting engagement from the chat. Because I like to say that you want to reward early action. So if someone's taking the time out of their day to be there early on the webinar, then you want to reward them by starting early on your
we're going to start here in like a minute, guys. So in the next 60 minutes at Good at Sales, so they always have to offer up a bunch of that stuff. So I'm going to give you guys the sauce in today's video, or today's thing. But firstly, I really appreciate every single one of you guys getting on here and attending. So in the next 60 minutes or so, I'm going to give you every single thing that you need, and like I wish I had, to be honest, to catapult yourself into the top 1% of people. So this is not going to be any beginner stuff. Like obviously I'll give you the stuff on how to plan offer, all that you guys want to do.
That was good that he's telling people like right off the bat, like who this is for, right? So if you're a beginner sales rep, then this is not for you.
But this is mainly going to be a bunch of advanced strategies, like pre-handling, how to find massive problems, things like that I quite literally paid like over $50,000 for. Some of the stuff will be like.
So a lot of people make this mistake, right? And I see a lot of people doing this in their webinars. They'll be like, oh, this information cost me over $50,000 or $100,000. Well, they don't show any proof. Show the proof, right? So if you've literally spent $50,000 on your education, show 2 screenshots side by side of wires or all the wires that you paid or the coaching programs that you bought that equal $50,000. Show proof, because people, they will believe it more when they see it. But like everyone says this in the beginning of the webinars, oh, pretend that you paid $2 million for this webinar. Just pretend, guys. You know what I mean? It's just like you have to show them. Show me why it's worth it.
Like sales management stuff from where the offers, all that. And it took me a long time to actually perfect this. Like I'm talking every single day, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. training every single day. So
again, like he's telling us it took me this many hours. And you have to show it. Show me that it took you this long. Okay, show screenshots, show pictures, show before and afters. Okay, this is what you need to do.
You should have a pretty actionable step-by-step plan. I don't leave out much here, but by the end of this, you should easily be able to hit consistent 20 to 30K months if you take in everything I'm saying. If you have it go in one year out the other, you're going to continue selling the same. But so the things you're going to leave with tonight. By the end. Boom.
All right. So I did watch all of this. Spoiler alert, right? So it's not like I'm not watching this in real time. So what Johnny did that I recommend, that you don't do, right, when you're running webinars, is putting so much words on one screen, right? You want things to be like, if you're going to share like a sentence or a message on a webinar screen, right? You want it to be like very impactful as to what you're saying, right? So what I would do is I would just have I'll have this, right, the headline, what you'll leave with tonight. By the end of this training tonight, you'll leave knowing exactly how, and then I'll have 3 bullet points, okay? So bullet point number 1 is one slide. Bullet point number 2 is another slide. Bullet point number 3 is another slide. You want the slides to continue to be in motion because I like to think of webinars like it's like a film, right? Like a movie, right? So you want it to feel like you're moving at a fast pace, but not a fast pace enough to where the audience can't comprehend or digest what you're saying. But so many words on a screen, it's hard to know, what am I supposed to be looking at? Like, you know what I mean? It's way too much words, way too many words. And I'm not a huge fan of like cash giveaways. I think that when you're telling people I'm going to give away cash, it's like, I don't know. We've seen it decrease conversions rather than like actually giving something that's more valuable way than just like money, because people will just stay for like money, right? But in his, the caveat to that is it's only $250. So it's not like he said like $1,000 cash giveaway, which I see more people doing. But $250, I mean, that probably didn't hurt conversion as well. But definitely, like words, you should have like 1 bullet point, like max on a webinar, right? It's just like way too much bullet points.
You're going to know exactly how elite salespeople build leverage for themselves and land the best offers in the space, because this is another one I believe. Why you see people get into sales for like 30, 40 years, and they're making $5,000 a month by the time they hit like 50 years old. And it's just like crazy because everyone's complaining. Everyone complains about their offer, their lead flow, lead quality, but you guys on the call are actually taking initiative, and I can appreciate that because I took initiative too. So a lot of you guys also, I know you're stuck at the same income level for months. I know I was. You're wondering how to hit the upper echelon because you see all these different people, you see all these closers, and even setters.
See, it's like even on this page, it's like, what am I supposed to be reading? You know what I mean? And then obviously he's talking, right? There's way too much words, way too much words. But like this is not even like a him thing. This is like a common mistake that like so many people make. Like just put too many words on their webinars. So this is great, automatically showing social proof right off the beginning. We're 6 minutes into the webinar. You want to do it in the first 10 minutes, right? You want to hit them with a lot of social proof, okay? Right off the bat in the introduction. A lot of people wait until the end, but what Johnny did here, which is great, he showed social proof in the very beginning of the webinar.
For commissions. So it's not like double close rate, take half amount of calls, only take laydowns. Double the commissions and double the close rate. The exact same thing for Sam, except Sam was already a 3K month setter. And in his first month closing ever, he made $20,000 commissions. He's a young kid. Christian, same thing. He was making like 2K a month as a setter. And within 30 days, he 6x'd his commissions as a closer. So he hit 11K a month closing. Paul, same thing. 3K a month.
Like what he did as well was showing like variety of the testimonials, right? So he had a woman, he had an Asian guy, he got a white guy, right? So like you want to show like parallels, right? Because when you're showing consistently one type of person, unless your audience is like all female or all males, right? But if your audience is all females, you want to show younger females, older females, right? Moms, students, right? You want to show a variety of testimonials. That way that your audience has like a depiction of, oh, wow, it's for this person, but it's also for this person, which means it could be for me as well.
As a closer to 30K a month as a closer. So these were all people who thought they were elite at sales. That's a common misconception. People think because I invested in myself once, that means that I'm the GOAT, and there's no more room to grow. But take a look at all these people. I think, looking back, every single one of them has invested into programs before. That alone is a huge lesson because a lot of people will get to 5 to 10K a month, and they think the only way to make more money is to offer up every single month, open up their calendar, and have zero.
So I like how he kind of seeded that in there. He's like, a lot of people that got this result, like they bought sales mentorship programs in the past, right? So it's kind of like when you're kind of like seeding within to them in the introduction. That if you want to even get better results, you're gonna have to buy my thing, right? So you also want to do that in the foreshadow. That's the right word. Foreshadow. You kind of want to foreshadow different things on your webinar. That way that it's almost like, I don't want to use the term brainwashing because that's like, right? That's like way too, it has like a negative connotation, but it essentially is really like, if you're like hypnotizing your audience to believe certain things, right? You want them to believe certain things. And I like that he did that right there.
Which, trust me, I've been down that road. Or start another business and pick up a side hustle, which sucks. But you guys definitely know the best way to put away your...
Just way too much words, man. Like, way too many words on these webinars. It's just like, you want it to be like short, punchy, the words. Or better yet, some of the best webinars I've seen, like barely any words, just headlines and pictures, images. Right? Brick Hitting does this very, very, very well. It's like headline, image. Like all his webinars are just images.
Your first few $100,000 is through sales. And if you want...
Let's skip through this. Yes, so right here, what Johnny's doing, right, he's getting like more engagement and buy-in from them in the beginning. So he's like, okay, comment 1 if you're this kind of person. Comment 2 if you're this kind of person. Comment this if you're this kind of. See, he's saying comment 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is good, right? Getting engagement from the chat, right? So we're 10 minutes into the webinar.
Sales training, and think that that's enough to get them to the next level. And then there's some that always think the grass is greener with the next offer or the next business model. But what this does is it creates a gap in the market, and it creates a massive opportunity for closers like you guys who are able to do what most closers aren't willing to do, and because of that, you get the results that most closers never get. You guys don't even understand. A lot of closers stay under 10K a month. A lot of closers stay under like 6K a month. So getting to the point where you're making 20, 30, like you are not in the top 1%. You're in the top like 0.05%. You're crushing. And as a result, you can emulate the success of the dozens and dozens of reps who've multiplied their commissions since they started working with me. Because right now,
you see Isaac reframing already. What a G! Like I like that he's like a sales like rep himself. So like I found it to be that in the high ticket sales space, like if you're a rep, it's almost like incredibly easy to sell to other reps because they know what you're doing, right? And I would go as to show, like, I mean, I'll go as far as if I was Johnny, I would tell them what I'm doing to you guys right now, right? So it's like, yeah, what I'm doing to you guys right now, like what you guys are about to buy my program at the end of this, like this is exactly what I'm going to teach you to do to other people. So it's like, oh, of course this works because Johnny's doing it to me. So I know it's going to work for someone else. So I like that. So I would be more upfront about that on the webinar. I'd be like, yo, you see like these strategies that I'm going to teach you, I'm literally going to do it to you right now so that at the end of this, like you're going to buy my program.
Already know because I've been there.
And they're going to respect it. Like Isaac, reframing already. What a G. Like they know what you're doing.
You're hitting income plateaus. You're making inconsistent commissions. You're having week-long drops. The same exact objections are killing your deals over and over and over again. You have to work longer hours to make
so many bullet points. Guys, when you do webinars, just 3 to 4 max. Like never more than 4 bullet points on one screen. It's just way too much to look at. Okay, one thing though that definitely for like the next time, it's like, all right, so we're 13 minutes into the webinar and we haven't even started hitting the content, right? So you want the introduction to be like, typically it can be 15 minutes, right? But like you really want it to be like 10 because a lot of people have showed up to multiple webinars before, especially in the biz ops space, especially in any really B2C space, really. Like they've been to most webinars before. They know like, they know, right? They know what you're gonna talk about your story, and then you're gonna, you came up from nothing, which is Johnny didn't do this at the beginning of the webinar, and this one he actually did at the end where he talked more about his story, which I thought was like very interesting, and I thought that was like great, right? It's almost like a pattern interrupt because most people when they show up on the webinar, they're like, oh, he's gonna tell us about his rags to riches story. I was broke, and then now I'm rich. It's like, people are tired of that. But he didn't do that on this webinar, which, kudos to him, if that was on purpose.
To become a millionaire overnight. And trading or UK months model provides the sale. After your UK months, exclusive standard.
See, it's like 15 minutes, like we haven't learned anything. Okay, cool. Step 1 now, right? It's like 10 minutes. Like I typically like to keep my introductions 10 minutes because longer than that, it's like, okay, like I haven't learned anything. What am I going to learn here?
So identifying why prospects really don't buy, which you might think you know why, but you don't. It goes a little bit deeper than that. Psychological triggers that stimulate buying decisions, authority positioning from the very first minute, which matters a ton. Creating the perfect selling environment mentally, and how to get over the mistake of focusing on features and benefits instead of belief systems. So one small shift.
Another thing as well is like me, as I'm not a high ticket sales rep, right? I have no idea what any of this stuff like means, but like I'm betting his audience does. In the very beginning, he literally said, this is not for beginners, right? So like even the language that you use during your webinar needs to show like who you're talking to. Clearly, a beginner that has no clue about sales or anything, like they're going to look at these bullet points and they're going to bounce. They're going to be like, dude, what the heck is this guy talking about? You know what I mean? Like he's clearly talking to like one specific person who clearly understands what he's saying.
So if if you guys implement just one thing, I would not be surprised. So is being able to get better at problem finding.
A lot more. I would tell him to use a lot more images, man. Like this is the first time I see like an actual image. It's been 16 minutes into the webinar right now, and this is the first picture I've seen. Right? Like humans are very visual people. You need to show a lot more images during your webinar. Just like when it's just like text of words, it's a lot for the human brain to comprehend. Like, what am I supposed to be looking at? Right? You want them, when we create webinars for our clients, it's like, you're looking at this thing right here, right? This image. So what I would have done, I would have stripped all of this. I would have just kept the headline, put the image on there, boom. Right? And then I would have gave Johnny notes on the side of like, okay, talk about this, this, and this, right? But just image, so they know, okay, I'm looking at this. I'm not looking at all of this. It's just one thing to look at.
And I'm not talking about just like the basic, this person hates their job, this person struggles with lead quality. Anyone can do that, right? Anyone. prospects have to have clarity on the this is like the classic get anything from the
And he's also getting like good engagement from the chat as well. So like that's good. They seem to be enjoying the webinar.
Because it's a thing that will make the biggest difference with causing doubt with your prospects. So they need to have clarity that the reason they struggle with X problem. So you want clarity on the current and potential ramifications of the business or their personal life if you guys are selling more like B2C type stuff. So how to find the perceived problem. This one is super simple.
Okay, one thing that Johnny didn't do is like give me the roadmap for what's going to happen. Okay, so he kind of just went into step one without telling me like the steps after step one. Okay, what I mean by this is like during your introduction, you want to set the stage for like what they're going to discover. Okay, so in our clients' webinars, right? So if you see anyone doing this online, by the way, they 100% got it from me. So Russell Brunson has like the 3 secrets. There's another person who has like the 3 myths. Jason Fledlin, he has his own thing. Like my thing is like the 3 pillars. Okay, so any webinar that has the 3 pillars, like it came from me. It had to have come from me, right? So we show them the 3 pillars before we even start teaching. That way, we're gonna tell them, yo, in pillar number 1. You're going to discover this. Pillar number 2, you're going to discover this. And if you stick until the very end, pillar number 3, you're going to discover this. So you want to show them the roadmap, right? So it's like the movie trailer. It's like a movie trailer, right? You're going to show them this is exactly what's going to happen during the movie, okay? Right? But obviously you have to show up to the movie theater and buy a ticket and watch the entire movie. So if you want to get step number 3, right, or step number 2, you're going to have to wait until that happens. So give me exactly what I'm going to be like learning, right? The full roadmap. He's going like step 1 to step 2 to step 3 instead of telling us what we're going to learn in step 1, step 2, and step 3, and then teaching, right? So that's what you should have done. And for anyone watching, that's what you want to do in your webinars.
You just go down this. Are you happy with the current job you work? Are you happy with how things are going? Yes or no? Go down the path. Let's say someone says yes, which is usually going to be how it works. It's like, okay, it doesn't sound too bad. Is there anything you would change about the process or the outcome? At this point, there's only 2 things they give you. They give you the problem or they give you the outcome. So let's say they give you, yeah, I want to be able to have my business make more money. At this point, they're giving you like a cope response. Because of course you want to make more money, but what we want to do is we want to take that answer and we want to ask them, why can't you just double down on what you do now to be able to get where you want to go? So that's where this question comes in. What's the main reason behind you getting more advanced training rather than doubling down on X to be able to get to the desired outcome they told us at the top of the call? At this point, they're going to explain the reason why they can't do it. And then we want to double down on.
See, there's a lot at this specific portion where he's like talking at you, right? It's like, I'm a little bit lost. I'm not going to lie. When you have like a large segment that you kind of want to teach, right? Which is like, he has like a whole bunch of like things on this diagram, right? What I would have done, I also just broke the diagram up. So it's like, what is this right here? Give a problem outcome. It's like you want to break that up into a series of like 50 to 20 slides. A lot of people think that you need like less slides on a webinar. You actually need more. You need a lot more than you think that you need. Like most of our clients' webinars have like 250 to 300 slides. Like if your webinar has like less than like 200 slides, it's like you need a lot of slides because you want to condense the information into each slide. Okay, that way, when you're watching a good webinar as well, it's like you're deep into it. It's like, what's coming next? You know what I mean? But if we're on the same side for like 3 minutes, it's like, and you're just talking at them. It's like you're gonna lose a lot of people during that. This is like another retention practice during the webinar. So he's giving us step 1. Okay, he's teaching here again. See the same exact thing here, right? So we started at 20 minutes. And like, bro, 3 minutes of just talking at someone on the same exact slide. You know what I mean? Like during those 3 minutes, I'm willing to bet people dropped off. Like 15 people dropped off just right there. Because it's just like a lot of you just talking at me.
Sure, it's not going to be good. So then after that, we want to ask ourselves, what impact happens next? When the close rate sucks, you think the sales team's going to be happy? No. They probably hate their lives. So they're going to be frustrated. When the sales team is frustrated, that's going to cause high churn. A frustrated sales team definitely does not cause them to sit around. So it's going to be high churn. At that point, when a sales team has high churn, how does that affect the business? Only in one way. It becomes stagnant and they can't grow. When the business can't grow because of all these things happen, the business owner becomes extremely pissed off and annoyed.
All right, no.
So what we want to ask ourselves is, how can we get these outcomes? So we have to position our questions to be able to get them using contextualization. Now, this is the most important part by far, because if you just ask these questions, this person's going to look at you like, yeah, bro, of course we're saying. So which is why you have to use contextualization. So for every single one of these answers, I'm going to position it to be able to get that answer with the question I asked. So I'll give you guys examples. Let's say bad lead quality, right? This person already knows the cause. They already have the perceived problem. At this point, now I'm going to show them that, okay, so because of your bad lead quality, how's that affecting the close rate? Oh yeah, obviously we're having a low close rate. Okay, now this is where I want to put in contextualization, because this is where it can get a bit tricky, and they might be a little mad at you.
See, it's a lot of you talking at me. It's like, it's great content, but you want to break it up into like a series of like multiple slides, because otherwise it's just, you're just talking at someone. Like, they're not able to really retain the information as well. And this is like, again, this is like the fourth image that's been on the webinar. You see how there's just so many words in just like one tiny image. All right, so right here, he's still like, we're still in like the content section, right? So the content section, the actual teaching of the webinar, we structure it to be about 30 to 45 minutes. Depending on the industry, it could be as long as an hour, to be honest. Especially if they've seen multiple webinars before, if the industry is like very jaded, if we need to spend more time with them in order to get a conversion at the end, the teaching section will be a bit longer. But this is good. Well, so we're on step 2 right now.
It was 4 a.m. waking up Pacific time because I wanted to sell people on Eastern time zone. I would work out. I would do 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. reviewing yesterday's training call and taking notes. 7 a.m. I'd start calls until 6 p.m. And then 6 to 8 p.m. I would attend the live training calls and study. And then I would take 1 to 2 actionable items into the next day. This is the season where you hone in a skill that's going to change the entire trajectory of your life and your family's life. And I know you might be like, oh, that's corny. It's not.
See, this is better to read, right? It's like 3 small sentences. Like, this is better to read.
I promise you, my family will be in a very different position these next 20, 30 years because of the work that I put in the past 2. And that should be treated as such. Like, this is something that could really change your life. You need to be focusing on selling during the hours people are awake, and the rest of the time is dedicated to getting more skill. You need to control the things that can be controlled.
See, he's like, yo, Dennis, this is some serious sauce. This is good.
Work like it. In your volume. Now, step number 3 is creating effortless closes. So pre-handling and learning psychology is very key to this. What we have to do is understand, why do people give objections in the first place? It's because they have limiting beliefs. And limiting beliefs are formed from bad experiences, or some people think of money bad experience. Literally, like, making sense to you guys, or have I completely lost you? Drop a 1 in chat if this makes sense. Good.
He should have done that earlier in the webinar, honestly. But like, you constantly want to get like reactions and constantly want to get buy-in, right? So what Johnny did, like, great, is like, hey, like, have I lost you guys? Like, are you guys still with me? One of our clients does this incredibly well. Every about 5 to 10 minutes, like, he'll ask for engagement from the chat, right? So you have to remember, like me, right? When I was watching this webinar, I had like Loom where I was recording the entire thing, but I was working on my other screen, right? So it's like a lot of people, they got your webinar pulled up, they got Netflix, right? How are you going to get them to like tune in, lock in? It's you, right? You have to get engagement from them. Streamers do this very well, right? And it's funny that I'm using streamers to like kind of give, because streamers essentially, what are they're running a webinar every single day. Like, people are paying them every single day to like be entertaining. Obviously, with webinars for the info space coaching, it's more teaching as well as entertainment. With streaming, it's just entertainment, but it's still a webinar nonetheless. It's a live presentation. You know what I mean? And a lot of them have their streams like planned out before. But what Johnny did correctly, got engagement from the chat. He should have done this earlier as well. I would say really like 10 minutes, right, ish. Are you guys with me? Or just ask like a rhetorical question. We love to ask a lot of rhetorical questions. That way they say yes. The more the brain says yes, or the more the brain says this information is true, this just creates trust. That's why I love webinars, man. VSLs, you can't do this with a VSL.
Okay.
He said,
cool.
yep,
yeah.
insane.
So this creates a enormous foundation.
He has a very, very, very strong audience. Like, they love him. That's great.
For any objection that protects the negative way of thinking because of comfortability. Step 1, what have they invested in so far? There's only 2 responses you can get here that can be put into 1 of 2 buckets. Either nothing. Now, that can be dressed up in a million different things. They can say, oh, I go on YouTube, I do this, I do that. If it's nothing, it's nothing. You'll know. Or I invested into something. So these are going to be the people who get on. They've invested in programs in the past.
This information is extremely valuable for it to be free. That's when you know you have a good webinar, bro. It's just, like, this webinar isn't bad by any means. It's just like, the tiny things that would have boosted his conversions, like 100%. I guarantee you, Johnny, if you're watching this right now, if you double the amount of webinar slides that you have, I guarantee you it'll perform better.
So let's just take an example situation, because I know a lot of what you guys sell, people...
Well, I can't guarantee FCC, but I have extremely strong convictions. If you double the amount of slides, less words on each slide, more images, right? It's gonna convert better.
Generally are investing in themselves for the very first time. So what we want to do is we want to address the future objection. So the easiest way to do this is literally just have time and time again. At the end of this, I would be able to have more time and I wouldn't have to work my job that I hate so much. Now that we've addressed the future objection, we need to tie the reason, bring in the alternative reality. So what this is doing is it's showing them how much you would have invested when you hopped on your first call 8 months ago. How could things be different later? Consequence questions with.
All right, so now he's done teaching. Okay, so I had to skip a little bit, obviously, for time's sake, but now he's done teaching. Now we're in the transition section. Okay, so when you're on a webinar, I recommend everyone, you don't go from teaching to pitch. There needs to be a transition, right, to get to the pitch. He's in the transition phase right now. Let's see how he did.
Comment yes if you're ready for me to keep moving on. I know this is a lot. So step
Oh,
one-
never mind. Okay, no, that was just getting engagement from the chat. He's not in the transition at all. He's still teaching. Okay. I was a little confusing. That seemed like he was transitioning. This is Fags. Johnny's the real deal. This is exactly what I do to make $30K per month. Masterclass. Great.
See if anything's changed, things like that. Or no shows, reschedule.
I think honestly, this Johnny was the most valuable thing you shared because no one talks about this. How you unlock new streams of commissions. I've heard no sales trainer talk about this. I think this is the most valuable thing that you said. And I know you have 4 steps. I always like to do 3 steps. The brain thinks in 3s always. Anything more than 3, to me, it just seems like, okay, now it's work. Now I have to, it's very difficult in order to get the result, which is why you want to do it in 3s, okay? But this was great.
Schedules, cancellations. These are very close to them. Now, the thing that's all nobody wants is they see programs, so no one's going to buy it. But let's say you do how to set it, make or how to do the event. So during this hour, I'm going to do 1 of 2 activities. Number 1 is going to be a 30-day progress call strategy, 30, and then I'm going to upsell them to a more, actually the 3K time is, I can be the renewal.
All right, so let's skip and let's go to like where he transitions. Oh yeah, step 5, it's like, yeah, way too much steps. Way too many steps. 3 steps, max. Max 3. Anything more than that is just like, is just OD.
The main takeaways that I want you guys to have here, and what I wish I knew sooner, is you have to have a strong why.
I would have took this and threw it in the beginning, right? So like, I don't know, it's too much sauce for you too, man. All right. Just take this and throw it in the beginning. Trust me. Like, you want to, in the very beginning, there's so many preconceived notions that people have before, while they show up on the webinar. They're like, oh, is he going to sell me something? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be this? Like, they already have preconceived notions, right? You need to absolutely destroy every single preconceived notion that they have at the very beginning of the webinar, destroy all objections, and really change their framing to fit yours. That way the pitch becomes that much easier. So like, this is incredibly strong. It's incredibly powerful. And this is, if anyone hasn't watched Shelby Sapp's webinar, absolute masterclass of like how she does this, how she destroys any limiting beliefs in the very beginning by using your why, right? So it's like, you want to ask for their why in the very beginning. Like, why do you even want to be like a sales rep and make 20, 30K per month? That way you can hold them to their why when it comes to pitching. Okay? Right? So you want to, okay, so you guys, you told me that this is your why, right? So like, why don't you book the call? Like, you know what I mean? So you're holding them to their own why. That's what you want to do. So take this part, Johnny, and actually throw it in the beginning of the webinar.
Waking up and taking 12 sales calls a day, because I need to put in with vacations.
But this is powerful. This is great.
So in the chat, let me know which step was the most impactful for you guys. Just so I understand. Was it 1? Was it 2? Was it 3? 4? 5? What do you guys think?
A lot of people were saying 3. 3.
Do you feel more confident in your ability to reach 20 to 30K a month?
This is the transition.
Honestly, it should be in a few months.
Well, you want to ask yes rhetorical questions. The answer to these questions during the transition should always be yes. Again, you want the brain to be saying yes, and you want the brain to be saying true. During the entire webinar, your goal is to get the brain, the mind, to say, that's true, that's true, that's true, yes, 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 yes. It's almost like it's really like a hypnotic state that you're putting them in, right? Because the more they say yes, the more they agree with you. The more they're saying what you're saying is true, the more they trust you. The more they'll pay you at the very end.
And finally, do you feel like our time together thus far has been well spent? Yes or no?
Straight from Jason Flettle. Whoever made this, if you made this is straight from Jason Flettle. Shout out to Jason.
All right. Because
I like to ask more questions than that. I think it was like 3. I like to ask 6, but it's not a big deal, especially because this is organic traffic.
This is put in action. This process has insane potential. Like I showed you guys, Sam went from 3.5K a month to 20K a month in 60 days. Kevin doubled his close rate and raised his average order value by 50% in under a month in fitness sales. Do you know how crazy that is?
I don't know if, well, like Johnny, obviously you can correct me if I'm wrong. Like, do people really care? Do sales reps themselves care about like their AOV? Double their close rate, I think that's strong. But like their AOV, it's like it's important, right? But like you want to sell what someone thinks they need and give them what they actually need, right?
That is under a month. Jabari made double his highest commission month in 2 weeks, closing the exact same offer.
Okay, double his highest commission month. Like, how much money did he
Jabari made
make?
double his highest commission
You know what I mean? Like, give the actual, like, how, that's so vague. Like, how much money did he make?
month in 2 weeks, closing the exact same offer. These guys are not working 12 hours a day. They are not super geniuses. They're not sales wizards who've been doing this their entire life. They just follow the frameworks that I just showed you. They invested into expert coaching so they could actually iterate when needed and have the support system to keep them constantly leveling up. And that's what happened. They took fast track, whereas I took the slow route, if I'm being honest. But if you guys don't know,
this is what I was talking about. Like, hey, he introduced his story at the end. I actually like this a lot.
Literally what I did from the very beginning. I was making probably $600 a month. This was 2022. I was working as a barback. That means I was stocking alcohol in a freezer. I was cleaning, I was never accomplishing anything meaningful. So I got my
See, like Johnny, now you're showing us the proof, the actual proof. See, he's saying I have $75 in my bank account. Don't tell me that. Show me that. This is perfect. You should have done this the entire webinar.
I was never accomplishing anything meaningful. So I got my
You have to show them. Show them.
first sales job. I dropped out of school and I burned the boats with $75 in the bank.
Sign up for Amex Blue Cash Everyday Card. If you know, you know. See, that's just speaking to sales reps. A good sales rep knows what that Amex Blue is.
2023. I signed up for an Amex Blue, but I paid for an $8,000 training program. For 2024, I stacked a few thousand in the bank. I spent it all going to an in-person event in Arizona. I begged Jeremy Miner's VP for a job. If I didn't perform within 30 days, I was fired. I did not have enough money for an apartment or a car. I got to work however I could, and I rose to be one of the top performers.
See, he's like showing us the proof.
In January 2025, I started my sales agency and training company. I've run the teams for some of the biggest people in the online space. Right now, we have about $1 million.
That's dope. School of Hard Knocks.
2 years, guys.
That's
in
legit.
2 years, I was able to go from an unfulfilled and broke kid,
Johnny, this was the best part of like your webinar, like by far, bar none. Because like, bro, you're showing me. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't understand a webinar. It's not just like for information. It's genuinely entertainment as well. Like show me the journey. Show me. He literally showing you side by side, right? Of him broke, bar back, $75. Boom, podcast authority, $300K in a Mercury bank account. Like that's speaking to them.
Dreams of being more to being able to take. Now it's for $5 2 months. Like seriously, how it feels, and I know how it feels to wonder if you're in the right business and to constantly have second thoughts. I know how it feels to not knowing what they're doing better or doing differently. With that being said,
this is great. I know how it feels. Again, like you can also the introduction. I would put this in the introduction as well. Like you want to bring them low, right? So you can like bring them back up at the very end, right? So you want to put them in like a low state, right? Which is like the introduction, right? Depending on like what the market is. So like if your market is, Alan Soltani talks about this. Like there's the different market states, right? So like if your market is in a, I forget the states that he references, right? But like if they're like in a lower state, you kind of want to like kick them down lower, right? Like you want to go down even lower than you are right now. And then during this webinar, you're going to build them back up, right? To a state of euphoria. Boom, they make a decision, book a call, piff on your program.
Once I reached the point where I was doing 30K, 40K, 50K a month, I realized that they're no better than the average closer. They just dialed in on what actually mattered. Create more understanding how to add additional streams of commissions to supplement their income.
But just so much words, Johnny. So many words. Like,
and overall, they know they're elite in their skill set, which reveals that breakthrough as a beginner is not easy. It's possible.
Why'd you disable the chat? I just realized that. Yeah, don't disable the chat yet, brother. Like, let them keep talking. And so, some things that people do is like, why would you ever turn off the chat or disable the chat? The only reason you need to do that, or the only time, is during the pitch when the link drops, because you don't want the link to get lost, and that's what you're gonna tell them. Hey guys, I'm gonna mute the chat because I don't want this link to get lost. Okay, because there's like thousands of you in here. That's when you can mute the chat. But beforehand, like never mute the chat ever. Never run a webinar when the chat is not on. Like I don't understand why people don't do that. Like they just turn off the chat. Like no, like it needs to feel like an actual live experience. Keep the chat on.
Possible, but at the end of the day, it usually takes years of people building their network and we're offering videos every day, blowing guys in the middle elite in their skill set.
It does depend though. Let me say it does depend, because if you're running an organic webinar, right? Like there's going to be multiple people in the room that have been to your webinars in the past. So it's like you don't want them to kind of like spoil the surprise almost like. So I've seen that with like people who run mainly organic. But if it's like cold, there's going to be new people in the room every single week. Don't mute the chat.
And becoming the top performer on their team and being the kind of closer that people fight over or try to poach. That is a real thing, guys. If you're really good at sales, people are going to find you. It's not like a, how do I DM this influencer to get on the team? They're going to find you. And then ultimately make the money that you actually want a few, and he transitioned to high ticket sales, started making 20K a month, and now it's mine. It was within a few months. Paul was making 3K a month.
More proof. I was sprinkled in, Johnny, proof throughout your steps. So after you showed step 2, you want to show proof that step 2 is true. You know what I mean? So like for one of our clients, well, I wouldn't give that example, but for let's say that you run an e-com dropshipping program, right? And then one of your pillars is how to run traffic and get sales, right? So after you go through how to run traffic, then you want to show proof of other people running traffic and getting sales. Okay, so you not only want to show proof at the beginning and at the end, you want to show proof in the middle between each steps that each step that you just told them to do is true.
The right things. He was buying training programs. He was searching for the best offers, but his skill set was not where he needed to be. Element gain commissions. Mason, he's a fitness owner through 100, able to help people. Product we had, and I formally opened high ticket syndicate 4 months. But because you signed up with the live training and went the extra mile to actually show up live, I'm going to reward you with an offer I legitimately will not offer anywhere else. I promise you guys.
Yeah, show me proof. You have to show that. You have to show proof that, like, one thing, Brickhead Inc., again, he does this very well. On his main, he has a main website, right, main funnel, to where you can buy his program and it's a specific price. Then on his webinar, he tells you, yeah, it's only here because if you go to my main program, it's this price. So it's proof. Like, you have to show proof when you say something like that, or else it's just not believable.
You try to get this month from now, it's not happening. But at the end of the day, people's serious mission to talk.
Good. Always ask for permission before you present them with the opportunity. Good.
Alrighty, now who's this not meant for? If you are not ready to fully dedicate yourself to becoming an elite sales professional over the next 90 days, you can go ahead and leave. If you're not ready to attend the coaching calls, consume the curriculum, and give it 100% effort because it's not easy, you can leave. If you don't have any funds to invest in your self-development, if you're not willing to get resourceful, you can go. If you stay until the end of the training, but for some reason you don't actually want to do this, alright? Absolutely meant for. If you're ready and eager to become an elite sales professional and start reaping the rewards that come with it, which believe me, there are rewards.
Good. Financially qualifying them. You always want to do this. If you, especially if it's bizarre, if you have at least this amount, then it's for you. Or you do it in a type form. We do one of those two, but you want to explicitly say either in the presentation or in the type form.
If you're sick and tired of remaining stagnant, you want to take a not able to invest at levels or high ticket syndicate tonight, you're going to qualify for some VIP bonuses.
Good.
So no matter which program you roll in, we have different options, but depending on the investment level, you're going to get.
This I don't like. I don't like giving discounts. So like there could have been something that you did instead. Like you'll get 20% off. It's like I'm a huge advocate of never, ever, ever discount prices. Ever. Never discount your price. Only give more value. Right? Instead of discounting your price, just give more value. That way it's now worth the price. Because if you're giving more value, you're essentially discounting it, right? But I'm not a big fan of discounts.
20% off the investment because you attended this free training. 20% off. 2 one-on-ones a month. You're going to get an A to Z course. And you're going to get done.
Good. A lot of people don't do, like, you want to show them, like, what it's called, like a handhold close. So we do this in all our webinars now. So you want to show them, when you click this link, it pops up to this page. You're going to fill out these questions. After you fill out these questions, it's going to redirect you to this page. On this page, you're going to do this. Then you're going to do this. Then you're going to do this. When this happens, you'll do this. You literally want to explain to them as if they're a third grader. Because people hate being wrong. Right? So, like, if it's their first time going through a type form and doing this, like, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, did I do something wrong? Like, is this wrong? Like, no, just literally tell them exactly what's going to happen. Hold their hand.
The goal that we want for every single student that joins is for you to get confident in your skill set.
Oh, wait, I'm lying. That's why I did. I just realized that I actually went to the other thing, not Johnny. Well, Johnny, on your webinar, you want to hold their hand. So when you drop the link, you want to share your screen and you want to act as if you're going through the type form. Then you want to tell them after you complete the type form, it's going to show this. Then my team's going to call you from this number. Okay. Remember, it's from this area code. So if you see this area code pop up, it's my team. Okay. Remember to pick up.
Get you to be a top performer on your offer because sales is one of those spaces where you can legitimately buy your way to success. All you need is a few key things. You need a network for offers. You need trainings to make sure you're actually doing what you need to do. And we legitimately hand this.
I love this. It's like this. I would have done this a little bit earlier though, Johnny. Like, this is fire. It's like all you need is these few key pillars to consistently make $30K per month. You need a network, right? You need training. You need community. You need accountability. Guess who has all that? High ticket syndicate. So if I did this webinar, I probably wouldn't have. I mean, it depends, right? Because you're speaking to people who are already in sales, so you went a little bit more tactical. I may have done the 3 pillars just off this. So you need a network, you need training, and you need a community, right? And then guess what? When you pitch, it's like, guess who has all 3 of those things that I just taught you? Oh, us. Wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you like to know that? Okay, cool. Now, fill out this application and buy. So I like that a lot. I like telling the audience, like, that they're going to buy from me beforehand, if that makes sense. It's like I just said, I'm going to give you all of these things, and then guess what? Who else has all of these things? Me. But you have to buy my stuff.
In some way to finance or scrap the funds up for a program like this, even if it was not mine. Like, I'm not telling you guys just to do this. And effectively buy my way to multi-5-figure months. And I'm not telling you guys something I didn't do myself. You guys all know this. I had like $50, and I put $8K on a credit card.
You have to show that proof, man. You got to show us.
Instead of that, everyone wants to take a long route. They want to hike. So they want to teach the exact same day. You to actually implement what we teach you. You to actually commit big syndicate. The chance that you see an ROI within 30 to 60 days is actually insane because you're going to be implementing what we teach you in real time and making extra commissions every single month. All it takes is us placing you on a lead offer, showing you how to pre-handle objections and raise your close rate, us showing you how to create new streams of commissions within your company. Like, this is not investing in some business that might not work out, might work out. Like, it's not. If you implement just defined money strategies, already you'll be making money, assuming you just put in work. Could you get to 20, 30K a month on your own? Yeah, you could. But logically, it will almost certainly take longer, come with more frustration, and require more trial and error than having us.
Why? Why will it? Why will it take longer? Why will it come with more frustration? You know what I mean? Give the reason why.
Just catapult you where you want to go. Because hypothetically, if we can get you to 20, 30K a month within 6 months, and it would have taken you 9 months alone, you ROI on what you pay us multiple times over. Right now, everyone who's on offer or already in sales, the fact that you don't know how to pre-handle objections at an elite level and not have to pull teeth at the end of every sales call, the fact that you don't know how to find the money within your pipeline to supplement your commissions when your inbound is low, and the fact that you don't know how to find elite offers are costing you like $5,000 to $10,000 a month minimum. Money that's left on the table.
I like that a lot. Like, all of these things are costing you money. Instead of you will gain, it's like loss is more powerful than gain, right? So, like, these things are actually costing you a lot of money. You're losing money by not doing these things. Powerful.
Because you haven't invested into something similar to high ticket sales. And it's ironic because as a salesperson, you're pulling people out of their limiting beliefs and stagnation on a daily basis. But most of you are stuck in your own limiting beliefs, in your own stagnation. Most sales reps have hit income.
Strong. I would have mentioned that in the beginning. That's really good. That's really good. It's like, or I would have said something like, in order to be good at selling, first you must be a good buyer. I would have said something like that, like somewhere in the webinar, maybe during the pitch, like something like that, right?
Most sales reps have barely invested in themselves since they started making a comfortable amount of money. Most sales reps remained stagnant in their skills, all because deep down they don't have the conviction that getting to 20, 30K a month is going to happen. Because let me ask you, if you guys knew you wouldn't fail, would you invest in yourself?
Strong. If you guys knew you wouldn't, this is why you need to unmute the chat. If you knew you wouldn't fail, would you invest in yourself? The chat's gonna say yes. Very good.
You would. So what does that tell you, right? Like, for example, Eris went from flat zero to making 20K a month in 60 days. Colin went from making 500 a week to 5,000 a week in under 2 months.
Good, a lot more proof. Good.
Paul, 3K to 25.
Well, you showed.
So instead of convincing yourself that 5 to 10K a month is enough money for you, instead of remaining on your mediocre offer and holding back your potential and staying stagnant in your current skill set and leaving money on the table and being limited to your network.
She's just so many. You want to go convincing yourself that 5 to 10K a month is enough for you. Next slide. This. Next slide. This. Right? It's just like so many words. It's like, where do I read?
Or being limited to your current outreach methods and all these things that you do to try to find these best ways to get the next space, start making 5K a month quickly and never really get past that level, right? They never develop an elite skill set. They bounce around from mediocre offer to mediocre offer, and they feel constant uncertainty about their situation. So they stay in the position for years and they get stuck in a trap, or they jump into a new business with barely any savings and they try to dig their way out. It's terrible, right? But nobody wants to be in sales, right? Anyone who tells you guys that, like, no one wants to, right? It's a means to an end. Your goal should be able to maximize your time in sales as much as possible. If you want to do that, so you can save up like figures. And I rolled it over, and because of that, now in a way to help you become how to actually convince every single time you get onto a call that you're going to be in control of skill set, equity, in your income and certainty, right? This is
one thing, like, I'm not sure, because I cut this short, to be transparent. I'm not sure if you did. Johnny was like, just tell me, hey, you're going to expect a call from my team, right? And, like, don't book this call if you're not going to bother to show up. Like, that's what we say to, like, every single client, just to reinforce that you want to get a higher show up rate. But you really didn't break down, like, what's inside. I just realized that, like, nowhere really did you break inside what's in high ticket syndicate. You know what I mean? Because webinars are really just layup deals for closers, right? So you want to make this as much of a layup deal as possible. It's like, what's inside? You're going to get 20 modules, and then you're going to get this many hours of training, and then you're going to get placed on an offer because we have all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, there's not much of what's inside. You don't want the call to be used as education. Like, that's what the webinar is for. The call is literally just logistical. It's just like, hey, where's your credit card? Boom. You know what I mean? That's how easy we make it for our closers, which is why they love working with us, right? So you really want to turn the webinar into the sales call, especially during the pitch, okay? So that's one of the main, because you don't want them to get on the webinar and just ask questions like, oh, what's inside? It's like, okay, like the webinar should have told you what's inside of High Ticket Syndicate. Okay, so let me know if you guys enjoyed this right here, me breaking down a webinar live. I was thinking of doing this at least like 2 to 3 times a week because I literally watch that many webinars on a weekly basis. So I hope you got a lot of value out of this, Johnny. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you're a coach who's at least making $50K per month right now and you're thinking about running webinars, or you're running webinars right now and you really want to dial them in order to make a lot more money. All right, so comment, like, subscribe, all down below. If you have any questions or anything like that, definitely message me on Twitter or Instagram. I'm more active there. Let me know what you guys think of this series down below, if I should keep doing them. Peace. I'll talk to you guys later.